You may have seen this on X already, but it's true. I'm betting my entire portfolio in HIMS and 4 other stocks. But before getting deep into why I've picked these companies, allow me to explain how I think about the overall architecture of my portfolio so that it makes better sense to you why I've picked these companies. I essentially pick stocks that I believe have asymmetric potential, in that the upside is far larger than the potential downside. In aggregate, I seek to own just a handful of stocks, such that any one of them has high odds of returning the entire portfolio many times over. In turn, I also pick these companies such that more than one has a high probability of performing in this manner. The investment horizon is decades and not quarters or years. In case of success, and in over a decade's time, success can look as depicted in the graph that you see below, with perhaps only 2 companies living up to the multi-bagger potential that I see in them, and the rest failing along the way. So far, this approach is working, with my AMD and Tesla holdings up approximately 38x and 10x, respectively, over the last decade. Of my more recent investments, Spotify and Palantir are both up 3x to date, and I believe that both are just getting started. Recently, I sold some losers' mistakes and concentrated the resulting capital into HIMS, which is up over 40% since I initiated the position. HIMS is a pristine example of the type of company that I teach students to spot in my 2-hour deep dive course, which is linked in the show's footnotes. HIMS essentially solves a growing volume of acute customer pains at scale in a way that is increasingly harder to imitate profitably. And in my view, that is the essential recipe for a long-term multi-bagger investment. Now that you know how I think about my portfolio, I will dive deep into why I've picked each of these companies. All right, but just to make this more fun, before we get into depth in each of these picks, allow me to do some rapid fire. So as I was saying, I'm essentially betting my entire portfolio on the following 5 predictions. And by the way, this is no small amount of money. If I told you how much it is, I guarantee you would be relatively in shock, especially given the concentrated nature of the portfolio. So 1, HIMS, I believe, will become one of America's largest healthcare giants, serving as a deflationary force in the typically inflationary US healthcare sector. 2, Palantir will, in my view, transform into the foundational platform for new enterprises, becoming essential for building businesses from scratch, and in my view, generally for operating businesses in the West. 3, AMD will rival NVIDIA's dominance by leveraging its long-standing expertise in chiplet technology, which NVIDIA will eventually have to fully embrace. 4, Spotify will secure its role as the Google of audio, becoming the go-to platform for music streaming and all things audio. So people will be using this as a search engine, but instead of consuming the information via video and images and so forth, it will be audio. Margins will rise meaningfully as a result, and you can actually already see this happening in the past few quarters. 5, Tesla will revolutionize global material production, achieving abundance through ultra-efficient manufacturing, low-cost energy, and large-scale AI deployment. All right, so that's it. Now let's get into depth into each of these 5 picks. Okay, so now let's get deep into the portfolio. In total, I have 5 companies, and the first one that we're going to be talking about is HIMS. As I've said many times already, HIMS is a stock with clear 100x potential. HIMS is a telehealth company that connects patients with physicians via an app and fulfills medication requirements via automated pharmacy facilities. Most importantly, however, HIMS is building the world's first AI healthcare closed loop, as you can see in the graph below. With nearly 1.5 million subscribers and assuming HIMS has been storing the anonymized data to date, its AI, once it goes live, will see in one day more patients than a physician can see in 10 lifetimes. So that's going to be very, very interesting. As HIMS continues to scale, this competitive advantage will continue to compound. No one else is treating millions of patients while picking up data and immediately applying the resulting insights to iterate an underlying and vertically integrated healthcare infrastructure. All other AI healthcare loops out there in the market require, like Teladoc, a modification of the sluggish traditional healthcare system. So that is the key distinction to understand when it comes to processing whether HIMS is indeed a good investment idea or not. And of course, that is up to you because none of this is financial advice. So the question is, apart from this clear distinction of HIMS in the market, how is the company going to 100x going forward? And in my view, it's going to do so via the following 6 core value drivers, which are the following. 1, a cost advantage. HIMS can treat a growing range of conditions at a cost below what patients would pay out of pocket via their insurance. This is a strong moat in an industry that is otherwise an inflationary hamster wheel. I'm not saying that doctors don't care about patients, but the US healthcare system is mostly focused on increasing prices year after year, and HIMSS is doing the opposite, so that is a clear advantage. Expanding verticals. Every quarter, HIMSS treats more and more conditions. Management has thus far demonstrated great discipline in picking new verticals, with the company increasing its cash from operations, as we will see towards the end of this section. Third, extraordinary organizational properties. HIMSS has succeeded in orchestrating from scratch an operation based on software, hardware, amidst a hellish landscape, which is the healthcare industry. No one in the healthcare industry is able to make money the way HIMSS can without participating in the existing traditional insurance system. So to give you an example of HIMSS pulling off an impossible feat after another, the HIMSS iOS app is currently ranked number 16 in healthcare in the US App Store, just 2 years after its launch. Only a great company can do this, and if you go and check out the ranking, you will see that HIMSS ranks amongst the biggest and oldest healthcare companies in the US. And if you go and read my deep dives, you will see that HIMSS just pulls off one impossible feat after another. Fourth, AI-driven insights. HIMSS is the world's first AI closed loop in healthcare, as I was saying, meaning that it is the only company that can directly leverage the insights its data generates to iterate the underlying healthcare infrastructure. This sets HIMSS up to compound faster than other players over time. 5, personalization. The combination of more conditions treated over time will decrease cost of acquisition and increase user lifetime value as users shift towards personalized treatments. This will make HIMSS more irreplaceable for customers and will make them stick around longer on the platform. 6, as a result of this, all of these previous 5 drivers, a rising operating leverage. As HIMSS deploys more verticals and fine-tunes its automated pharmacies, its level of personalization will become increasingly harder to imitate at scale. This should yield improved unit economics over time, which are thus far translating into an improved cash flow profile, as you can see in the graph below. Company number 2 that we're going to talk about is AMD, which I believe has 20x potential from here. As I've said in the past on X, I believe AMD is going to 20x again over the next decade, driven fundamentally by a highly differentiated product roadmap that the market still doesn't understand. The market is looking at AI as if it were only about selling GPUs, but all of AMD's business segments are effectively distribution channels via which it can repackage and then sell its core AI tech. I believe this distribution advantage will pay off in the years to come by yielding better unit economics for AMD than otherwise. Essentially, and this is a very quick summary, and you can go and check out my deep dives on the company, as you can see depicted in the graph below, AMD's chiplet platform will enable it to tap into multiple $100 billion plus business opportunities at a marginal cost. If you're curious as to how exactly this can happen, go and check out my AMD deep dive, which is available for free in my Substack. However, the summary is that this is because chiplets enable AMD to connect different computing units at will in a way that no other company can do in the semiconductor space. Notably, AI at the edge can evolve into something like data center GPUs for NVDA at present, as I will explain further on in this write-up. AI won't be confined to GPUs. It'll be absorbed into all computational platforms over the next decade, all the way from smartphones to desktop computers and laptops, cars and fridges. Expertise in chiplets uniquely positions AMD to connect disparate compute engines, as I was saying, and by extension, what this does is it sets up AMD to infuse all of its products with AI capabilities. Over the long run, this is a much better strategy than only going head-to-head with NVIDIA in the game of selling GPUs, which, by the way, AMD is going to do anyway, and I think that they're going to succeed. By bringing chiplet-based GPUs to the market with a differentiated approach, so a differentiated price-to-performance ratio, and iterating on its ROCm software, AMD already has a great chance of taking GPU market share from NVIDIA. But by simultaneously repurposing that tech across its various business segments, AMD increases its overall odds of success. The potential upside in taking market share from NVIDIA is huge, but so is the upside in becoming, just as one example, the number one provider of AI PCs. Better yet, AMD can take on both endeavors at a marginal cost because the competitive advantage in both cases stems from its chiplet platform, which can generalize across the aforementioned product lineups and beyond. AMD already has a distribution channel on the PC so the CPU side. This means that even if the company does not succeed in taking market share from NVIDIA, it still can obtain a strong return on investment on its AI investments via PCs, hence the asymmetry of AMD's move into the AI space. Also, and this is very, very important, this is one of the key takeaways of this video, this dynamic is also giving way to AMD's new $200 billion AI at the edge business, which promises to evolve into something like data center GPUs for NVIDIA at present. Since the Xilinx acquisition, AMD has been positioning itself to dominate this emerging space by onboarding Xilinx's leading FPGA technology. As you can see in the graph below, although the data is from 2019, Xilinx is the undisputed leader in the FPGA market, and in turn, these kind of chips, FPGAs, perform like no other kind of chip possibly can at the edge. AMD is thus uniquely positioned to capitalize on the AI at the edge opportunity with fairly insurmountable barriers of entry. And again, this is a $200 billion plus per year opportunity, probably at some point in the next decade. So hypothetical competitors need to not only surpass AMD's FPGA technology, which is going to be very hard, but also its interconnect technology. So the technology that it uses to connect chiplets, which is called Infinity Fabric. And they need to do this if they want to seamlessly connect FPGAs with any other compute engine as AMD can. And this is very, very hard to do. The third company we're going to talk about in my portfolio is Tesla, which I see going up 20x over the next decade. And that's just to say something, because the implications of what these guys are building can be way, way bigger than that over the coming decade or two. Essentially, while many associate Tesla primarily with automotive production, it's in fact building a transformative platform akin to the internet in its potential impact. As Tesla continues to compound its manufacturing efficiency, its AI capabilities and energy capabilities, mostly in the form of batteries, eventually it is likely to bring abundance to the world, as you can see depicted in the graph below. I call this Tesla's abundance triangle. And I believe that as Tesla brings together these three verticals, it's eventually, as I was saying, going to produce a platform that can basically abstract work away for humans worldwide. As Tesla forges ahead with its platform, it approaches a pivotal moment that dwarfs previous milestones. Despite recent fluctuations in Tesla's stock value, the company has actually substantially increased its manufacturing capabilities compared to a year ago. This enhanced manufacturing prowess is propelling Tesla's bold expansion into AI and the renewable energy sectors. Together, these endeavors, as I was saying, envision a quote-unquote second Internet of Things where AI-driven robots basically, and this is hard to basically say out loud without thinking this is crazy, these robots will automate tasks globally, leveraging Tesla's core strength in rapid economic optimization, meaning that these robots will be cheaper and cheaper to produce every day, and eventually they'll be all over the place doing stuff for humans. Bolstered by this fundamental capability, Tesla is rapidly advancing its battery, solar, and vehicle technologies, yielding invaluable data for refining its full self-driving capabilities. As the data reservoir grows, so does Tesla's AI expertise. And as you can see in the graphs below, recent milestones underscore this progress. Cumulative miles driven with FSD and energy storage deployments are growing exponentially. You can see particularly how in the case of FSD, this is just going through the roof lately. We just went through a second inflection point, and as it refers to this of course is correlated with Tesla's AI training capacity, defined as the number of H100 equivalent GPUs that they have. And in turn, energy storage deployments have also been growing exponentially, as you can see, although it's been fairly flat for the past few quarters. But if you basically analyze the year-over-year growth, it's impressive. And this is really a result of Tesla optimizing unit economics and ultimately making cars cheaper to produce every day so that they can put more cars onto the road, so that they generate more data. And as Tesla gets better at producing cars, they get better at producing batteries. And so this is a vicious cycle. This is a flywheel that the market is currently misunderstanding because of all of this pessimism. But eventually, I believe that this will translate into much higher levels of free cash flow per share. While the automotive market faces uncertainties due to the recently rising interest rates, which now hopefully will come down, Tesla's robust manufacturing foundation is fueling exponential growth in AI and renewable energy. The company's enduring focus on optimizing unit economics makes the odds of such a long-term trajectory quite attractive, and that is why I remain long despite the pessimism. The fourth company is obviously Palantir, which I see as having 20 to 100x potential from here. Palantir is set to become a multi-trillion-dollar company over the next decade, because it is revolutionizing the core process of wealth creation that humanity has been using forever, basically, by amplifying it. This breakthrough is currently underappreciated by the market and is best evidenced by the rapid growth of the customer count in the US commercial business, which you can see in the graph below. Through history, wealth has been generated by discovering innovative ways to organize atoms and electrons for beneficial purposes. At its heart, wealth creation is really about uncovering insights that drive better decisions in this regard. In essence, we're all playing what I call the information game, basically. While abstract, this idea becomes tangible through historical examples. Innovations like semiconductors, electricity, the internal combustion engine, and the telephone all come down to basically rearranging the universe's building blocks to create wealth. In modern economies, most wealth is produced in turn by private enterprises. And so companies are essentially optimization engines, striving to maximize output while minimizing resource use and time. They are concentrated manifestations of what I was terming as the information game. Historically, we've been playing this game in an introductory level, managing companies with subjective observations and a limited grasp of the information flows within and around them. This is where Palantir comes in. Palantir empowers companies to develop digital twins, comprehensive digital replicas of their operations. This integration unleashes the power of AI and blockchain within enterprises, technologies that operate entirely in the digital realm. This sets the stage in a radical shift in business operations as follows. 1. With digital twins, organizations transform into data-generating entities. Every action produces additional data. 2, this data is analyzed by AI models, extracting valuable insights for faster and lower cost operations as compared to the traditional human capabilities. 3, this commoditizes predictions, enabling companies to simulate first and act afterwards, as opposed to the traditional approach of acting first and then analyzing results, which is where most of the costs actually come from in a company. 4, as AI models grow more precise, much of the operational complexity can in turn, and this will happen in the future, this is currently underappreciated by the market too, be managed by smart contracts, so blockchain, trusted to execute as programmed. 5, this will drastically cut costs relative to revenue across numerous industries. Envision a company that essentially becomes more intelligent with every operation, liberating humans from mundane, repetitive tasks. And if you look at Palantir's customers closely, you will see that essentially this is already happening. They are cutting OPEX as a percentage of revenue rather quickly. And so thanks to Palantir's technology, this vision is no longer science fiction. This evolution basically leads to a new type of organization, one that excels at uncovering insights and is far more efficient at generating wealth. Palantir drives this transformation through a continually evolving software suite, positioning it to deliver and capture significant value. As industries adapt to this model, Palantir is positioned to optimize the operational expenditures of an increasing number of companies worldwide. And as a result, in my view, Palantir will become an indispensable asset akin to electricity today. In turn, and this is very important, Palantir is rapidly productizing its offerings, making it easier for customers to integrate them. This is ultimately increasing Palantir's contribution margin, which is actually the key driver of Palantir's improved financials at present, as evidenced by the rising cash from operation levels, for example. As Palantir continues to get better at productizing its offerings, it's going to tend towards an inflection point in which it has a sufficient number of customers per vertical and industry to start selling tailored compute at a marginal cost. This has the potential to redefine how computation is sold in the marketplace, putting Palantir at the top of the distribution funnel in the cloud industry. As you can see in the graph below, this is likely to kickstart a flywheel by which it gets increasingly harder for competitors to imitate Palantir, giving way for the company to emerge as a computing titan akin to Microsoft, Apple, and other computing giants of our time. Okay, and last but not least, because I've made quite a bit of money with this investment, I believe I'm going to make much more, Spotify. Spotify today is like Amazon in 2001, a misunderstood goodwill compounding machine with the potential to solve problems for creators and fans, just as Amazon has done in the past few decades for consumers, merchants, and developers. As you can see in the graph below, MAU's monthly active users continue to grow at a breakneck pace. And by the way, that is a graph on the left that you can see on the screen now. Both Amazon and Spotify share two fundamental principles that have fueled their success. One, cultivating consumer loyalty. Spotify has consistently earned the trust of its users by providing exceptional value for money, mirroring Amazon's approach to consumer satisfaction. Both Amazon and Spotify share two fundamental principles that have fueled their success and that I believe are going to take Spotify a very long way from here. 1. Cultivating consumer loyalty. Spotify has consistently earned the trust of its users by providing exceptional value for money, mirroring Amazon's approach to customer satisfaction. 2. Embracing relentless innovation. Spotify is constantly expanding and experimenting with new audio verticals such as podcasts, audiobooks, and education, echoing Amazon's diversification beyond books. Spotify's dominance of the podcasting market, outpacing even tech titans like Apple and Amazon, is a testament to its ability to identify and capitalize on emerging opportunities. This showcases Spotify's prowess in recognizing and capitalizing on new avenues for growth, further bolstering its execution capabilities. Similar to Amazon in its formative years, Spotify is disrupting traditional industries. Spotify's ad inventory is thriving due to the lack of gatekeepers in the new audio verticals, while Spotify is well positioned to connect creators and consumers efficiently, opening up new revenue streams. Despite competing with Apple and Amazon, Spotify reigns supreme in the audio space, boasting over 615 million monthly active users. This highlights Spotify's unwavering focus on audio, which is unparalleled in the industry. In the years to come, Spotify's financials are poised for a transformation as it expands into new audio verticals and margins improve. Because remember, labels keep 75% of the money that Spotify makes in the audio verticals, but the new verticals, which Spotify excels at executing in, do not have these very unfavorable unit economics. So basically, as these verticals get bigger and the network continues to grow, I believe that the transformation that we're going to see in the income statement is going to absolutely shock the market. Also, with its relentless pursuit of optimization and iteration, I believe that Spotify could even establish a quote-unquote AWS equivalent in the audio realm. While this vision may not materialize, the potential upside is large and my investment is already up 3x. So I believe that the chance of this turning into a 20, 30x investment is very, very high. However, the thesis is already materializing, with Spotify's margins and free cash flow levels arching up in the past few quarters, as you can see in the graph below. I believe that this trend will continue to accelerate in the coming quarters, with the stock market likely reevaluating its assessment of Spotify stock. As you can see here on the screen, this increased cash flow production is a result of the total gross margin ticking up, with premium gross margins going up and the ad-supported gross margin ticking up too. And you can see how the cumulative free cash flow production since 2016 has actually started to grow exponentially. And I believe we're going to see this start to grow really, really fast. All right, so that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed this review of my portfolio. This is the first video of many that I'm going to do talking about my picks and explaining to you guys how I think about investing beyond the individual investment ideas. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if I can please ask you one favor, if you enjoyed this video, please share this with one friend that you think may enjoy this too. These deep dives are for free, and so the only way this grows is with your help. So thank you very much, and until next time.